here we have the final scores of the weekend. Look at that. Fnatic over there with that win over Schalke. Excel taking the win over Mad Lions. G2 beating Vitality, of course. And that's the game where Perks had the pentakill in the bot lane.
Woof. Vitality. Woof. Woof.
Oh, no. The Misfits game, that was actually really fun. That was their first win against SK Gaming. And that was heavily off the back of Fabivin in the mid lane on that Kiana. Really proven why you should be banning that champion.
Yeah, just Kiana is insanely strong.
Yeah, definitely. Here we have Fnatic taking down SK Gaming as well. And fun storyline coming out there with Selfmade taking on his own team and, just pile driving them into the ground.
Yeah. I mean, it did start out too fancy. It got a little bit scary in there for a minute.
It was a little scary. Trying to build up the boy just a little bit. Like, come on, you can do it. And he's just looking at his old teammates like, oh, no. Big bro, please.
Looking at his old team that, if not for Vitality, may be the worst team in the league. But I don't know. I'm selling my Schalke stock here too. So.
Oh, it's not. No, come on. It's in.
Oh, this game. Okay, no. I thought you were about to put the Mad Schalke
the
game
Mad
on screen.
No.
Oh my god.
I had to cast it.
Is Mad are my new favorite team to watch, just because I love like a team of super talented like young players. And I tweeted out that I cursed them by liking them, and Peter was like, yeah, you did. And I was like, but you won. And he's like, yeah, but the audience lost.
Oh my gosh.
This is all you need to know about Emily. She sits at home and she's like, I really want a team that I can put all of my faith in, all of my emotional investment, and they'll disappoint me at every single turn. And then as soon as they beat that category.
The ESPN curse, it doesn't.
I mean, I'm used to watching LPL where you have a lot of teams like that, right? Where they're just like really young, really mechanically talented, maybe not making the best macro decisions ever.
That's about all 17 of the teams, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Darin, what did you think of this
But they're really good at pressing their buttons, okay?
Yeah, but Darin, what did you think of this one?
Oh, for that one? Oh, I don't know where we're at in this conversation.
We got lost.
Yeah,
We got a little bit lost.
I think Selfmade is one of the better junglers in the LEC, and I think that you see him getting a win over his former team is vindication that he made the correct move. Fnatic is a very strong organization, always has been, and I think when you go to a young player goes to Fnatic, you can see them build them up. I mean, you've seen Whippo was behind Soaz, and then Whippo became the starter. Selfmade.
Hell, even Steelback worked in there.
Yeah, even Steelback worked many moons ago. And I think as long as you have Reckless in that bot lane and anchoring them, you have some veteran leadership, regardless of what's going on behind the scenes. Nemesis is another young talent that they've been building up. So really cool to see that their organizational structure works out for them that way.
Let's go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's always a discussion between everyone saying Broxa versus Selfmade, and I think that's kind of the wrong way to look at it, because it was essentially Broxa versus Fnatic as a unit, because for whatever reason they just weren't synced together or working cohesively as a team. Whippo talked about it a bit in PGL, that it just feels like the team is communicating much better, and so it's now about reevaluating what the ceiling looks like, not pound for pound talent-wise between Broxa and Selfmade, but what Selfmade now unlocks this level of Fnatic. And if previously with Broxa, Fnatic were able to go to things like knockouts at Worlds, and then obviously when they had caps, they went to a Worlds Finals, then personally, I think this iteration of Fnatic is better, and so now the goalposts have moved to, again, at least knockouts at Worlds. Can you get back to that World Final? And I think by diversifying, not just being a bot-oriented team, or not just being kind of like the Garen, Yuumi type of team, that with Selfmade, they can be a mid-jungle oriented team as part of their arsenal of tools. So I think that's the big starting point, is the new ceiling and identifying what that is with Selfmade's Fnatic.
And Frosk, I don't want to keep you up too late at night, so I do want to move on to our next team that we wanted to talk about, Rogue. We heard, are they the potential dark horse of the league? They took the loss to Origin, but still went 3-1 after 2 weeks. So what do we think of the team as a whole, Frosk?
I think the word dark horse is certainly being thrown around a lot to Rogue. Vedius and I have a pretty aligned, so, okay, hot take. Rogue are a very good team, and they are definitely a top 4 team in the league. I, however, think that the true dark horse or the true villain might be Excel over Rogue at this point.
Whoa,
I think.
Really?
I'm I am
I
fist
think-
bumping in the air right now. Thank you, Froskurinn, for validating all my Excel hype.
I think Rogue to me kind of remind me almost a little bit of like Baby Origin in that their fundamental understanding of League of Legends and kind of where their baseline play is, and it kind of always centers around the mid lane. Not necessarily in playing through Larson, but in like if you watch how they set up plays on the map, it's always, okay guys, go mid, get my mid priority, and then sweep out to the side, okay? Go again, get my mid priority and set up and set vision plays. And they can play side lanes, but they're quite clean into like the spine and where they stem from, but then they don't have the same flexibility or versatility of Origin that they can play all three lanes and kind of like the 1-3-1 as consistently or successful. Now, I have been told that what we've seen from Rogue on stage isn't the highest that they've been displaying in scrims. So a lot of the other LEC teams are still giving them so much respect and saying, you've only seen the worst iteration of Rogue, and if that's true, what I'm seeing on stage isn't that bad, still really strong, so I'm just waiting for like the real Rogue to show up and then pop off. But what I've seen from Excel, I just think is it was coin flip high. So I feel like it's this idea of the consistency that just isn't quite as polished as kind of the other top three teams in Origin, Fnatic, and G2 in Rogue, versus the Excel, like, you don't have the same consistency, but you do have that volatile variance high that Excel are starting to show in terms of where you're picking your dark horse.
Rogue is really the example, I think, of what these rookie teams like Misfits and Mad Lions and Vitality want to be one day, right? Like, these players have some more experience under their belt than the players that are on Misfits, or most of the players that are on Misfits, Vitality, and Mad Lions. But I think the thing is with Rogue is they're a testament not only to the culture of the LEC and how good they are at developing talent and plucking it, but also I think to the point of scrims, like, they just have to get better under pressure, and there are certain people on this team that I think have shown those moments of brilliance, Hansama and Vander among them, right? They have performed very highly on stage before, when Hans made Worlds several years ago with Misfits, and Vander is one of the most experienced players in the league. I think that there's an opportunity for them to really be one of the best teams in Europe and really give Fnatic, Origin, and G2 a hard time. Maybe not G2 as much as the other two, but I think that there's a chance that Rogue shows up and just like they did in summer, maybe plays a little bit better than people predict them to be come playoff time this summer.